Have you ever stood in your kitchen, reaching for that little jar of mixed nuts, thinking, hey, this is healthy, I'm doing something good for my body? Maybe you toss a handful into your mouth, no big deal. You've heard nuts are great for heart health, right? Good fats, plant protein, brain boosters. All that stuff. But then, a few hours later, you feel off. Maybe a little bloated. Maybe your joints ache just a bit more than usual. Or your stomach just doesn't feel quite right. You chalk it up to aging or something random you ate earlier. But what if it's not just age? What if that innocent-looking handful of nuts, the one you thought was helping you, was actually doing more harm than good? See, here's the thing most people don't realize, especially as we get older: not all nuts are created equal. Some can support your heart, your memory, your digestion, even your mood. And others? Well, they might just make things worse, quietly, over time. Causing inflammation, messing with your gut, or even affecting your kidneys or blood pressure. And the scariest part? Most of the time, you don't even notice what's happening, until it's already affecting your energy, your sleep, your body. Now, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help. Because when you do know the right choices to make, even small ones, like the kind of nut you snack on, that knowledge becomes power. Real, life-changing power. So today, we're diving deep. I'm going to walk you through 4 powerful nuts you should be eating after age 65, the ones that can truly make a difference in your health and how you feel each day. And I'm also going to tell you about 4 nuts you seriously need to avoid. Ones that seem healthy, but can actually stir up problems you don't need at this stage of life. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. You might even find 1 or 2 of your favorites on the never touch list. But hey, this is all about learning. It's about protecting your body, nourishing your brain, and adding more quality to your life, not taking anything away. So, here's what I want you to do: comment, "Nut Smart," down below if you're ready to find out how something as simple as a nut can actually transform your health after 65. And if you're new here, or if you just appreciate honest, heart-centered advice about living well as you age, go ahead, like and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Because we're here to walk this journey with you, one caring, thoughtful step at a time. Alright, let's get into it. 4 nuts you must eat, and the 4 you should never touch. Let's start with one of the best nuts you can eat after 65. Walnuts. Now, if there's one nut that deserves a standing ovation in the world of senior health, it's this one. Let me tell you a quick story about Helen. She's 72. Sharp as a tack, but she'd been forgetting small things lately. Names, dates, where she left her glasses. Nothing alarming, but enough to make her pause. One morning, after reading an article about brain foods, she started adding just a few walnuts to her oatmeal, 5 or 6 little halves. She didn't expect a miracle, just thought, why not try it? 3 weeks later, Helen was telling her daughter how she could feel her focus getting better. Even her joint pain had eased a bit, something she'd quietly been battling in her knees for years. Now here's the science behind what happened. Walnuts are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically something called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. This is a plant-based fat that helps protect your brain. They're also rich in antioxidants, which fight inflammation. That means less pain, clearer thinking, and even support for your heart. A lot of people think omega-3s only come from fish. But not everyone enjoys fish, or eats it often enough. So if you're someone who prefers a more plant-friendly diet, or just doesn't like the smell of salmon, walnuts are a goldmine. They also contain melatonin, which helps regulate sleep. That's something many of us struggle with as we age: falling asleep, staying asleep. Walnuts gently support that rhythm. And here's a simple way to enjoy them: 5 to 7 walnut halves in the morning. That's it. Toss them into your oatmeal, sprinkle on a salad, or even just eat them raw. You don't need a lot to get the benefit. But now, let's shift gears, because not all nuts are doing your body a favor. And the next one? It's a sneaky one. Looks luxurious. Tastes buttery. You'll find it in fancy snack mixes and gourmet cookies. Macadamia nuts. Let's talk about Tom. He's 68, retired, and used to love sitting down in the evening with a small bowl of macadamias while watching TV. Just a little treat at the end of the day. He figured, they're nuts, they must be healthy. But Tom started feeling strange fluttering in his chest, light heart palpitations. Nothing intense at first, but enough to make him uneasy. His doctor ran some tests. No big red flags, except one detail: his saturated fat intake was much higher than it should have been. And the biggest culprit? Those macadamia nuts. Now listen, macadamias do have some good qualities. But they're extremely high in saturated fat. For younger folks with fast metabolisms, they might not notice it. But for older adults, especially anyone managing cholesterol, blood pressure, or heart health, it's like throwing fuel on the fire. Many of us see these nuts in nice packaging, labeled as premium, and assume they're good for us. But not all natural fats are created equal. Macadamias are delicious, yes. But they're not your friend if you're trying to keep your arteries clean and your heart strong. If it's the crunch you love, there are better options. Try lightly salted almonds, or even roasted chickpeas. They give you that satisfying bite without flooding your system with unhealthy fats. Small changes like this can make a real difference. And believe me, we've only just begun. Because the next nut on our list? It's one you've probably eaten for years. And it could be the key to keeping your energy up throughout the day. Let's talk about another nut that deserves a permanent place in your pantry. Almonds. Now, I want you to picture Marie. She's 69, vibrant, and loves taking daily walks around her neighborhood park. But not too long ago, she started feeling unusually drained, like her energy would just dip halfway through the day. Someone suggested a small change: add a handful of almonds before her walk. Nothing fancy, just a light snack. And to her surprise, she started feeling more energized, not just during her walks, but throughout the day. Her daughter even said, "Mom, you seem more upbeat lately." Why did that happen? Well, almonds are packed with magnesium, a mineral that helps regulate your energy and keep your nerves and muscles functioning properly. They're also full of vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that supports your immune system, skin, and even your memory. And here's what many folks don't realize: as we age, our bodies don't absorb magnesium as well, which can leave us feeling tired, foggy, or even a bit down. Almonds give you a natural, gentle lift, no crash, no jittery feeling, just steady support. But, and this is important, not all almonds are created equal. You might walk down the grocery aisle and see honey-roasted, salted caramel, barbecue-flavored almonds. Sure, they taste good, but those versions are often loaded with sugar and sodium. And that cancels out all the good stuff. If you're not careful, you might turn a healthy snack into something that spikes your blood pressure or irritates your stomach. So, here's your best bet: stick to unsalted, dry-roasted almonds. About 10 to 12 per day is perfect, enough to support your energy without overdoing the calories. They're great in a little snack bag, tossed on a salad, or even crushed and sprinkled over yogurt. Alright, now that we've covered one of the best, it's time to shine a light on a nut that's often misunderstood. It looks harmless, even creamy and comforting. But if you're over 65, it might be stirring up trouble quietly in the background. Cashews. Jim, a retired teacher, used to love his cashew trail mix. It was his go-to snack while watching sports or working in the garden. But over time, he noticed some things were changing: his digestion felt heavier, and he developed a rash on his forearms that wouldn't go away. At first, he thought it was just sensitive skin or maybe a bug allergy. But when he cut out cashews, everything cleared up. So, what was going on? Cashews are high in oxalates, naturally occurring compounds that, in high amounts, can irritate your kidneys and joints. This is especially risky for folks who already deal with arthritis or have had kidney issues in the past. The oxalates can build up and cause discomfort, inflammation, and even stones if you're not careful. Here's the part most people miss: cashews feel soft and luxurious. They blend easily into spreads, sauces, even dairy alternatives. But that smoothness can be deceiving. Underneath, they may be triggering issues you don't even realize are connected. If you're someone who loves that creamy texture, you don't have to go without. Instead of reaching for cashews, try a spoonful of almond butter. You'll still get that smooth, satisfying mouthfeel, without the hidden risk. Small swaps like this can truly ease your body's burden. And when your body feels lighter, everything else feels easier too. And next, we're moving on to a nut that's not just healthy, it's practically a secret weapon for heart health. It's time we talk about a powerhouse that too many people overlook. If you've ever craved something crunchy and a little salty in the evening, it might just be your perfect match. Pistachios. Let me tell you about Ruth. She's 74, loves crossword puzzles, and used to have a little cookie or two before bed. It was her nighttime treat, nothing fancy, just a sweet way to wind down. But during her regular checkup, her doctor noticed her blood sugar levels were creeping up at night. Nothing urgent, but enough to make Ruth pause. So, she made a simple switch. Instead of her cookie, she grabbed a small handful of pistachios. Within a few weeks, her nighttime blood sugar levels improved, and the surprising part? She didn't miss the cookie one bit. In fact, she felt less bloated and more satisfied. Why? Because pistachios are high in fiber and low on the glycemic index, which means they help regulate blood sugar rather than spiking it. They're also packed with healthy fats, plant-based protein, and a nice dose of potassium, which supports heart function and helps ease muscle cramps. And here's something many folks don't realize: pistachios are small. And because they're small, it's easy to keep eating just a few more, then a few more. Before you know it, that small snack turns into a calorie-heavy meal. That's why one of the best tricks you can use is to buy them in the shell. Why? Because shelling pistachios one at a time naturally slows you down. You're not mindlessly snacking, you're engaging with the food, being present. And that makes a huge difference in how much you eat, and how much you enjoy it. So, remember, one small handful, preferably in shell, is more than enough to satisfy your craving and support your health. Swap them in place of sugary desserts or processed snacks, and you'll feel the difference, gently, but powerfully. Now, this next nut might surprise you. It's probably one of the most common snacks out there. You'll find it at baseball games, in lunchboxes, and in almost every pantry across the country. But for seniors? It could be hiding a silent threat. Peanuts. Let's talk about Bill. He's 66, retired military, and swore by his peanut butter sandwich every single day. It reminded him of his childhood, simple, filling, familiar. But then he started having subtle issues, nothing dramatic at first. He felt more inflamed, his joints ached more than usual, and his stomach just didn't feel right. Eventually, after some blood work and a bit of digging, his doctor brought up something Bill had never heard of: aflatoxins. Peanuts, you see, aren't actually nuts. They're legumes, which grow underground and are highly susceptible to mold. That mold can produce something called aflatoxins, tiny toxins that can build up in the body over time. And while most people don't feel the effects right away, sensitive seniors, especially those with weakened immune systems or chronic inflammation, can feel it in their joints, their gut, even their energy. Some folks think, well, I'll just buy natural peanut butter, surely that's better. But here's the thing. Even natural or organic peanut butter can still carry the same mold risks, because the issue isn't how the peanuts are processed, it's how they're stored and where they're grown. So, what can you do instead? If you love peanut butter for that creamy texture or nostalgic taste, try almond butter or sunflower seed butter. They offer the same rich flavor without the fungal concerns, and they're easier on your joints and digestion. A simple swap, just like that, could be the thing that helps reduce nagging pain or clears up that unexplained tiredness. You see, the smallest choices, what we spread on toast, what we snack on after dinner, can quietly shape how we feel every day. And that's why we're taking the time to go through these, one by one. Because up next is a nut that might surprise you even more. It's humble. It's often overlooked. But for heart health, circulation, and cholesterol, it might just be your new best friend. I call it the silent guardian of the senior diet. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, and it's not something you'll see in granola bars or smoothie bowls on Instagram. But don't let that fool you. Brazil nuts. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 69, always had fine hair, and for years, she dealt with thinning and brittle strands that never seemed to improve, no matter how many shampoos or supplements she tried. She also struggled with fatigue, cold hands, and just a general sense of being a little off. Her doctor ran a few tests and said, "Margaret, your thyroid's not functioning quite right. You might be low on selenium." Now, selenium might not be a nutrient you hear about every day, but for seniors, it's a game changer. It plays a key role in thyroid function, immune response, and even cognitive sharpness. And do you know the richest natural source of selenium in the world? You guessed it, Brazil nuts. Just one nut, yes, just one, can give you your entire recommended daily amount of selenium. Margaret started eating just one Brazil nut a day, often alongside her morning tea. Within a couple of months, she noticed something incredible. Her hair wasn't breaking as much, her energy lifted, and even her nails felt stronger. It was subtle, but consistent. Now, here's a very important word of caution: with Brazil nuts, more is not better. In fact, eating more than 2 per day can cause selenium toxicity, which can lead to symptoms like brittle hair, irritability, or even nerve problems. That's why I always say, treat Brazil nuts like medicine, not a snack. Pop one in the morning with your vitamins. Or maybe one every other day, depending on your diet. Think of it as nature's own supplement, concentrated, potent, and best in small doses. And if you've never tried one, they've got a rich, buttery texture that's satisfying in just a single bite. That's the power of eating with intention, not just habit. But here's the tricky part. Just when you start making great choices like Brazil nuts or pistachios, you walk into the grocery store, and what do you see? A big, shiny tub of mixed nuts with words like heart healthy or energy boost stamped across the label. And you think, this must be good for me, right? Well, not so fast. Let me tell you something that surprises a lot of folks. Most commercial mixed nut blends are not your friend, especially not if you're over 65. Why? Let me introduce you to Carol. She's 72 and always thought she was doing something smart by grabbing a handful of premium mixed nuts every day. But after a few months, her blood pressure was creeping up, she felt bloated more often, and her doctor was puzzled. When they looked at her diet more closely, they found the culprit. Those mixed nuts she was snacking on. They were coated in hydrogenated oils, had added sugar, and were loaded with sodium. Some even had MSG. A flavor enhancer that can mess with your digestion, your sleep, and even your mood. You see, when nuts are roasted in vegetable oils, especially low-quality ones, those oils oxidize, meaning they can cause inflammation in your body. And that beautiful label that says, roasted and salted? It often means that what you're actually getting is something far from heart healthy. The truth is, the healthiest nut blend is the one you make yourself. Here's what you can do: go to the bulk section of your grocery store. Buy raw or dry roasted nuts, single types like almonds, pistachios, walnuts, maybe even 1 or 2 Brazil nuts. Look for unsalted versions, and skip any that have coatings or added flavorings. When you get home, portion them out into little bags or containers. Keep a jar nearby for snacking, but now you're in control of what goes into your body. Because mixed nuts can be healthy, but only if you know what's in the mix. So, the next time you see one of those big containers on the shelf, just remember, if it has a list of ingredients longer than your grocery list, it's probably not doing your health any favors. Now, take a breath, because we've just walked through 4 amazing nuts you should be eating, and 4 you might want to leave behind. But here's the thing, this isn't just about nuts. It's about choices. Small, consistent choices that stack up to something powerful. And in just a moment, we're going to talk about what all this really means, for your health, your family, and your peace of mind. Because there's an emotional side to this, too. And we're about to go there, together. Let's just pause for a moment. Because I know what you're probably feeling right now. How could something as small as a nut make such a big difference? Have I been eating the wrong things all this time? Is it too late to fix it? And I want to tell you this, from one human being to another. It's not your fault. You were doing your best with what you knew. You chose snacks that seemed healthy. You trusted the labels. You believed that if something was sold in a health aisle, it must be good for you. But now you know more. And yes, knowing what nourishes you and what harms you can feel overwhelming. Especially when it's something so tiny, so seemingly harmless, like a nut. But here's the truth most people miss. Health isn't built by big leaps. It's built by small, quiet choices. What you sprinkle on your oatmeal. What you snack on when you're reading the paper. What you reach for when your stomach rumbles at 3 p.m. Those moments, those tiny decisions, stack up. They become your energy. They become your sleep quality. They become how well your joints move. They become how clearly you remember your granddaughter's laugh. So, let's reframe this, together. You are not behind. You are not too old. You are not stuck. You are empowered. Today, you've learned which nuts can fuel your brain, protect your heart, and ease inflammation. And which ones might be quietly doing more harm than good. That is powerful. That is enough to change the course of your health, not with medication or drastic diets. But with knowledge and gentle awareness. So, here's what I want you to do after this video, take a quiet moment. Go to your pantry. Look at your snacks with fresh eyes. Ask yourself, is this serving my body, or stealing from it? Maybe today, you set aside the peanut butter. Maybe you add a Brazil nut to your morning tea. Maybe you swap the mixed nut blend for a handful of dry roasted almonds. You don't have to change everything all at once. Just one thing. Just one. Because even a handful of better choices, just a few a day, can add vitality, joy, and clarity to your life. You deserve that. You really do. You've spent your life caring for others. Now, it's time to care for you. And it starts with something as simple as a nut. Let's take a moment to gently go back over what we've uncovered today. If you're over 65, your body isn't the same as it was decades ago, and it's not supposed to be. It's wiser. More sensitive. More in need of intentional care. And that's exactly why the nuts you choose matter more than ever. To recap, walnuts, those wrinkled little powerhouses, are a blessing for your brain and your joints. Almonds keep your energy steady and your nerves calm. Pistachios? They're your blood sugar's best friend. And just one Brazil nut a day can keep your thyroid humming and your immune system strong. But not all nuts play nice with aging bodies. Macadamias, heavy with saturated fats, not great for your heart. Cashews? Sneaky oxalates that can inflame your joints and trouble your kidneys. Peanuts, technically not even a nut, come with risks of mold and inflammation. And those commercial nut blends that look so tempting? Often loaded with hidden oils, sugars, and preservatives that do more harm than good. Your body deserves better. And now, you know better. Let me ask you, honestly, from one person to another. Which of these nuts surprised you the most today? Were you eating one that turned out to be a hidden danger? Or maybe, you found a new favorite you can start adding to your daily routine? I'd love to hear your thoughts, truly. Scroll down, head to the comments, and let's have a real conversation. Because when we share, we help each other grow stronger together. And if this video made you feel even just a little more confident in your food choices, if it helped you see how small changes can bring real results, then I gently invite you to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. This is a space made just for you, for your well-being, your clarity, and your continued joy in life. We talk about everything that matters in your golden years, from nutrition, to energy, to emotional health. All in a way that's practical, caring, and deeply respectful of the journey you're on. So go ahead, tap that subscribe button. And maybe share this video with a friend who needs a gentle reminder that nourishment is love. As we wrap up, just remember, you are strong. You are wise. And you are absolutely still in control of your health, one smart, caring choice at a time. Thank you for being here with me today. Stay strong. Stay wise. Stay well. We're all in this together. And I'll see you in the next video.